Who is under more pressure in this game? Is it Mahomes going for back-to-back championships and trying to catch guys like Tom Brady, or is it Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, going for his first?
Is this really? Let me make sure I'm reading this correctly. Under more pressure Sunday, Purdy. Really?
Yeah.
It's Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
If Patrick Mahomes does not win, what are we going to say? He can't win the big game? He's already won two. Is he not very good? He's a two-time league MVP, has two 5,000-yard passing seasons, and in his first year as a starter, he went 5,050 and an MVP. So there are no more questions that we need to ask about Patrick Mahomes. This is all about Brock Purdy because everybody already wanted to anoint him as elite. He needs to win this game much more than Patrick Mahomes. The questions are, is Brock Purdy what people believe him to be? I've had questions. He's answered a lot of my questions the last two playoff games. I wanted to see him come from behind. I wanted to see every throw matter, every possession matter. Being down 17 in the NFC Championship game, Stephen A., answered a lot of the questions.
Yep.
But if he doesn't win this game, are we not going to have even more questions, Swags? Are we not going to have more questions, Mina? Of course we are. If Patrick Mahomes does not win this game, there are still no questions to be asked about this young man.
Well, the question asked, can he actually catch up to Tom Brady, which is his priority? I mean, that's when we talk about Patrick Mahomes, we're not talking about who he is as a quarterback. We're talking about his legacy, and this is a prime opportunity for him to grab that by the horns. I think it's Purdy. And for me, it's really about the matchups. We've been talking all week on NFL Live about this San Francisco 49ers rushing attack versus a Chiefs defense that's amazing, but is vulnerable against the run. Don't know why Baltimore didn't run. So the way I see this game is Brock Purdy doesn't even have to have an A game for San Francisco to win. Heck, he could have like a B minus game, and they could still win. Whereas on the other side of the ball, if Patrick Mahomes has anything less than an A-plus game, and that's what he's brought in the postseason, he has made no mistakes, he's been flawless, I don't think the Chiefs win this game. And thus, I feel he's under more pressure because there's more pressure on him in this game to be absolutely flawless.
But if Brock Purdy doesn't have an A game, we still have questions. Here's Christian McCaffrey wins the MVP. Do we leave these games with less questions of Brock Purdy or more questions?
Based on the way things have played out this season, I don't think people will be that critical of Brock Purdy because there's been many games where they have won as a team. That's no shade to him. They're an incredibly well-built team. And I think given that he has time left with his contract, he's not under pressure right now to be the reason why they win.
Well, I think he is. I think he is from the standpoint that there have been numerous questions about Brock Purdy coming into the playoffs. He's answered the call, and I'll give him a lot of credit for that. But again, it's not even about winning or losing because you could lose the game, but you could play exceptionally well. We saw how Jalen Hurts played in last year's Super Bowl, but they still lost to Kansas City. You go out there and you Brock Purdy and you play well, but y'all end up losing this game to Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. There's no shame in your game. But if you show that there's vulnerabilities, that there's deficiencies in your game because you go out there and wet the bed in a fashion that's indicative of what we may have seen when you went up against Baltimore and they came to town and stuff like that, then I think that's the kind of stuff that can stain him to some degree. You want to look at this situation and say, okay, this isn't Mullins, this isn't Garoppolo, this isn't somebody that Kyle Shanahan has had in the past. This truly is the quarterback for the future for the San Francisco 49ers. When I think about pressure associated with Brock Purdy, I think about him performing in such a fashion in this game that enables you to say that about him. Is this the future for the San Francisco 49ers? We think so already because of what we've seen, and the numbers have been astronomical, and he's shown up in key moments in the two playoff games that he has had. But you go up in the Super Bowl and you play well, we're going to look at him and go say, we ain't even got to think about anybody else with Kyle Shanahan, quarterback of Kyle Shanahan and San Francisco 49ers for the foreseeable future.
I like the narrative that's being formed when it comes to Brock Purdy. I feel like he's under the most pressure, but it's because all of the quarterbacks that we think can derail Patrick Mahomes are in the AFC. We don't think of any of these other guys in the NFC. We think of Kyle Shanahan with Brock Purdy as the potential suitor when they get to the actual game. That can your quarterback do enough to beat who we think is going to end up being the greatest quarterback to ever play this game. Because there has to be someone. When Joe Burrow did it, he ascended to another stratosphere in conversation about who is the guy that's going to supersede or potentially have the ability to take over Patrick Mahomes. This is to me a no-brainer. First of all, we talking about the dude that was drafted last in the NFL draft that is going to be asked. Now, look, we could get to the part where what is he actually going to be asked to do? Is it going to be CMC? Is it going to be Deebo Samuel?
My question here.
When Patrick Mahomes plays in a football game, your quarterback going to have to do something.
Yes.
He's going to have to do something. And guess what, Stephen A? You and I got burned a week ago because we thought Lamar was the one that would be able to do it.
That's right.
So when Brock Purdy is asked, and I think he's changing the narrative because of what we saw in the fourth quarter with Green Bay, because of what we saw in the second half with Detroit. But when 15 is on the other side of the field, we just saw it. We just saw the league MVP have a problem responding in that moment. So will Brock Purdy have that ability to do what he did against Jordan Love and Jared Goff when 15 is standing on the other side of the field?
I just want to go back to what I said. Do you guys agree with me, though, if Patrick Mahomes plays anything less than a perfect game, the Chiefs will not win?
Well, I watched the San Francisco defense struggle against Jordan Love. I watched them struggle for about 3 quarters against Jared Goff. Patrick Mahomes is those two guys 3X. You struggle against him, you're not coming back from 17 down.
But those offenses are so much better on the ground and the weapons versus, like, Patrick Mahomes has to lift up this Chiefs offense.
But he does. And that's the thing. That's what makes him great. You know, you talk, listen, the beauty about Super Bowl week is that you run into everybody. Everybody here, right?
Yes.
And everybody let their guard down, and they sitting up there at the bar. You know what I'm saying? They're in the casino. They're everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And they're drinking and they're talking and all that stuff. And then you hear stuff that you know, usually you just hear in the locker room or you just hear on the side when they pull a reporter to the side. And all of a sudden you just hear people talking. Look, man, there's only one quarterback we paying out here. This is Patrick Mahomes. Everybody else is vulnerable. We ain't worried about anybody else. You hear that kind of stuff and you see the level of reverence that these guys have for Patrick Mahomes. And I've often said this. When you see somebody on the other side of the field, that's a form of defense. If you're Lamar Jackson, don't tell me that seeing Patrick Mahomes on that other sideline going like this, if I don't do this, that brother is going to capitalize, had no effect on your performance whatsoever. There are levels to this, and Patrick Mahomes is on the elite level.
Even if the Chiefs lose, are they a bona fide dynasty already?
I think so. I understand the numbers. You want to get to the 3 championships. For me, I guess where my point is coming from is I think they'll win the 3rd even if they don't win it this year.
Exactly.
I have no doubt about that. One thing that's amazing, I feel like the most underrated storyline in this Super Bowl is the Chiefs' defense.
Yes.
They are the youngest defense in the NFL. The average age is 25. We talk about Patrick Mahomes, we talk about Andy Reid. This organization has done such a phenomenal job building this team for long-term success. So while this is a prime opportunity, Patrick, you know, I think we'll see it that way. Certainly, he'll be back. I have no doubt about that.
Excuse me. I want to hear no damn thing about no dynasty if you lose. Oh, no. You need to win it. And by the way, last time I checked, MK, Shay, Swagoo. I mean, you know, when y'all say this stuff, it just amazes me how y'all come up with this because, listen, you got to close the deal. And I'm not saying, and you constantly be talking about the violence in football, how tomorrow ain't guaranteed. Patrick Mahomes could get hurt. Travis could get hurt, or he could retire, even though I don't think he's going to. But yeah, he could. I mean, these receivers can start dropping passes again. Anything can happen. You can't take in football. The one sport you don't take anything for granted in is football. Okay, you can't take tomorrow for granted. I don't know if he's gonna win 3. I believe he will. I believe he'll win 4, but I don't know because anything can happen. The prime opportunity right here is now. I don't want to hear about dynasty when you lose it. Oh, they lost, but they're a dynasty. Hell no. Somebody else got the Lombardi Trophy.
But you make it seem like they don't have any. Like they're the Buffalo Bills.
They got 2.
They got 2.
They got 2.
And you
got more than them.
But we do realize that in the Patriots, when they from 01 to 04, in 02, they didn't make the playoffs. I ain't talking about going to the playoffs. When does Patrick Mahomes miss the playoffs? When does he not go into the end of AFC Championship?
He hasn't.
And he's in the
Super Bowl. Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
He's cold. The cold effect in his mind.
Look, man, stop making fun of me with that. Okay, because I am freezing. But the point is, don't even get me started with this. I'm just disgusted. But here's the point, though. Let me ask you this quick question, Shannon. When you won the 2 Super Bowls in Denver, right?
Yes.
Did you feel you were a dynasty?
No.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Right there.
I got to go.
Because 2 ain't enough.
No. But here's the thing, Stephen A. Had we taken care of business in '96, we got bounced in the first round. I mean, in the divisional round against what we felt was a substandard team. I mean, I shouldn't say that they made the playoff, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay.
But had we gone to the Super Bowl and then we had lost and we go to 3 straight and we lose, absolutely we are dynasty. What's wrong with y'all?
Okay, all right. So I'm with you, Stephen A, on this one.
Thank you very much.
Because I think 3 is that magic number one, because we do it in 3s. When Jordan had his 3-peat, that's when we start talking about boom, boom, boom. Shay, come on now. We
distracted his iPad dropped.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
so I picked
You
it up.
knocked it out. You knocked it out. And you know I don't know how to get back into it.
Because we don't give you credit for getting there, right? Well, I was young when I watched Buffalo get their head beat in 4 times,
Right.
in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Now, based on winning percentage and success, that's pretty solid as a dynasty. But it's Dallas because they won 3.
There you go.
That's why. Like Pat Mahomes sitting here and he can get his 3rd out of the 4th one he's been in. I think then we stamp, okay, these dudes won 3 Super Bowls in a 4-year span. Go ahead.
If they don't win this year, they win next year. Are they a dynasty?
No.
What?
No.
Wait, what?
No.
What?
They got to start over. They got to start over. If they don't win this year and they win next year.
No. They don't win this year, but they come back and win next year. I'm not with you on that.
I'm a 3-peat guy.
I'm not with you on that.
I'm a 3-peat.
I'm not with 3 and 4 years. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying you can't lose this year, and we're talking about you as a dynasty. Now, if you come back and you win next year, and you got 3 and 4 years, I'm with Mina and Shay on that
one. So here's for me, the clock start over, because you have lost to
start over.
Yeah, start over. You start trying to get back to your 3-peat. But we look at it differently. I don't know a dynasty without 3 in a short window. I don't know one that we judge. Can y'all tell me one that we judge?
Man, Jordan got us jaded.
No.
That's Jordan.
Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous.
Is missing 1 year not too short of it? Like that, you're saying that the window isn't short enough for that?
It'll be 3 out of 5 in that.
That's insane.
Yeah. No, I don't. No.
Hey, hold on, Swag. You do realize you're a Cowboy.
Yeah.
And you know they hadn't been in ever.
92 to 95 was the 3-year
And I'm saying,
window.
and since then, nothing.
Yeah, but they didn't repeat. But it was 3 or 4 years.
And we consider them a dynasty.
All right, then. That's what we said.
If you get 3 and 5 years, that's not a dynasty.
I can flow with that.
Yeah.
I can flow with that. I can flow with that.
Nope.
What you put in your coffee this morning?
Some of that little Porty.
You had to have put some of that. What are we missing?
I don't know.
It might change when we get that next year. I want 3 and 4. I want the 3 to happen right now.
I think you're just cold and you're tired, so you're being
I'm not tired.
I think I know what's going on.
He's not tired.
This is Cowboys thinking.
Yes.
Infiltrating
Right.
Yes.
the
Come on,
discussion.
Y'all,
This
listen,
is-
think
this
about
is-
all the 3-peats that we consider dynasties. They happen within a 4-year span.
Okay.
At minimum.
Goodness, man.
At a minimum. They did.
Your standards are high. It's okay.
Listen, man, when you start bringing that word into the equation, they better be high.
Dynasty does it
They
does
better
count.
be high.
It needs to be high. But
better
I'm with
be high.
3 and 5 years is good.
Okay, cool.
It's good for me.
All right. Well,
it's good for me.
We differ.